And now, please welcome to the stage Casey Vander Stricht, Principal, Solve Innovation Future, MIT Solve.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here today. We launched Solve Innovation Future in 2019 to support solver teams in their efforts towards scale. Structured as a donor-advised fund, we make seed and Series A investments in solver teams. We work hard to meet the needs of these teams, structuring entrepreneur-friendly investments, acting as an impact-focused co-investor, but-for funder, and debt provider where appropriate. Our goal is to provide flexible, risk-tolerant capital to amplify impact and accelerate growth. I'm proud to share that in the 24 months of our active investment, we've made 8 investments, and excited to announce that as of today, we have 2 additional investments joining our portfolio and our family. 2020 solver SmartFish, who use a value rescue model of fishing to improve fisher livelihoods, conserve marine ecosystems, and offer responsible choices to consumers. 2021 solver team Macarize is also joining the family, a distribution central command for pandemic response. AI technology predicts system capacity and makes recommendations to optimize the allocation of scarce health resources. With these 2 investments under our belts, in total, we will have deployed just about $1 million. And we're especially proud that for every dollar we've dispersed, we've catalyzed 4 towards our investees. We're headquartered in 8 countries, and our investees have raised more than $40 million in the past 12 months. We've served over 9 million individuals, and we're really just looking forward to the next step of this journey, and we hope that all of you can be a part of that with us. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to one of our new investees, Javier Van Cauwelaert, CEO of SmartFish. Please join me in welcoming Javier to the stage. Awesome. Javier, they've heard from me. They know what I do. I would love if you could introduce SmartFish to the crowd.
Yeah. Hi, how are you? Whoops. SmartFish is what we do is that we work with fishermen so they can earn more fishing less. We are a hybrid company, an NGO, and a commercial business. I run the business, and over there somewhere is Ceci, that she runs the NGO. We work with fishermen so they can improve the quality of the fish, they can process the fish, and we can bring more steps of the value chain to the co-ops, to the fishermen, and then we open stores, and we are the last or the only intermediary between the fishermen and the market. In that way, we can pay them between 40% more and maybe 200% more, and reach the market at a very competitive price.
I think it's really interesting what Javier is describing with respect to the hybrid model, and it certainly is something that many of the entrepreneurs in the room have explored, is thinking about what does that model look like, and how do I think about both the business component of what I'm doing and my impact component, and how do I actually legally structure the entity to be able to accelerate impact. Can you share a little bit more about the intermediation that happens as a result of your nonprofit and for-profit arm, and how that has an impact on the broader ecosystem you're serving?
The intermediation between us?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the company was created by the NGO because they needed a good intermediary to go into the market. They tried different solutions, and it didn't work, so they created the company, and then we became the market for the fishermen. And at the beginning, we were more mixed in how we managed the money and everything. Right now, we are 2 separate entities working with the same objective, but each entity receives or looks for the money for themselves.
Yeah, which is, I think, a pretty interesting solution to figuring out how do you continue to drive that impact. And from your mind, working on the for-profit side of the house, how do you think about impact in your day-to-day work?
Impact in what we do?
Yeah.
That's what we do, right?
Yeah.
We were created for that, and we always think on growing and keep having a business that can be an example to other business that you can do, that you can create profit by working with sustainable seafood.
Yep. And one of the things that Javier and I talked a lot about through this process of investment was thinking a lot of the trends, at least in the US, are for organizations that are looking to disintermediate, right? Are looking to your Warby Parkers or your Everlanes or some of these consumer-facing products that are saying, no, 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 the market is too crowded, and therefore our way of having impact will be going direct to the source and kind of clearing out the market. For you, in some ways, you're re-intermediating the market by acting as the coordinator between the fishers and the store. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that looks like?
Yeah, we believe that intermediaries are necessary, but we need to change the way the intermediation is done. The intermediary is very important in the value chain, and they have to exist, but they have to become good intermediaries. They have to work more transparent, with more transparency to the producers. They have to build a model that will leave more money in the producer side and not in the intermediation side.
Yep. And how do you pitch that into investors? When you were thinking about raising capital and you're describing this, how did you pitch that story?
I mean, I usually talk about what we do, and show them that we have a very traditional model of business because we have stores, physical stores. But I always ask them for patient money and a low interest rate, because when we want to create capacity with the fishermen, for example, it would take the NGO maybe a year to bring a co-op from where they are now to the quality that we need, and we cannot pay for that. And the stores are very, I mean, they produce income, but then you don't have a very large margin. So we ask for capital that is patient and low interest rate.
Yeah. And how did you find, we know how you found Solve, and I think one of the fun parts about our investment that I'll share with this group is that we've co-invested with the Conservation International team to help drive more dollars towards Javier and Cecilia and the work that the SmartFish team is doing. How did that, talk a little bit about how that partnership developed?
Well, we started with Solve working, and we met people from Conservation International at another place. And they were willing to look into our model and to lend us money. And they lend us $400,000 to open stores. And we have agreements with them about impact metrics that we have to cover. And then when we were at Solve, we were talking with you all the time, and you were very like you were always listening to what we need. You never said, this is what we do, and you have to fit in that model. So you were always listening, and then sometime when we got the Conservation International, then everything just speed up, and we got the money from Solve.
Yeah, and from our perspective, having investors that are aligned, we know that makes it easier for you, and we believe that makes it easier to run the business and scale and hopefully achieve the impact goals that you're doing.
Yeah, I don't think we can scale without that help, without the money.
Right, right. So tell us, beyond the money is obviously the necessary, it's not sufficient. What would you say to other investors in the room around what partnerships and what support you can provide beyond the
well, connections, learning, there's a lot of things. In 2021, we were named one of the 50 best SMEs companies in the world by United Nations. Yeah. And I think it had to do that we were part of Solve, and we are a big corp also. Yeah. But there's a lot of connection, there's a lot of learning. Just by being here, we are learning a lot. So I think that's even not more important because we need both, but they have to go together. Yeah. And I think people that will give you money, but will give you other things like will join you in the journey will be great.
Yeah. Well, we are really excited to be on this journey with you. Yeah. We are honored to be a part of the SmartFish family, and we're excited to share more of our investments with this group in the future. So thank you so very much for working together.
Goodbye.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you. It's been fun for me to get to introduce you a little bit to Javier and to some of the work that we do. Moving from my work at Solve Innovation Future, I'm over the moon to introduce you to one of my colleagues. Sarah Montebarro is Director of Strategic and Partner Programs at Solve, and please welcome me in joining to welcome her to the stage. I think that's how that one went. Thanks so much.